All right, in the last video, I explained how to create surveys and edit them. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can um, create invitations that you can send to the families. So the invitations to actually fill out the surveys. There are three different ways at the moment where surveys can be created. So one is when you're checking a family in, you have the option of sending a general family survey or a self-identification survey to the family. The second way to do it is when you're checking a family out, you can send a family experience or a general survey. And so again, those will be the different types of surveys that you can send out. And then the third way is to simply go to the family detail screen and create an invitation. And on the family detail screen, you can create an invitation for any type of survey. So it's just from a workflow perspective, the check-in and check-out surveys are looking at specific types. So I'm going to walk through first creating a survey from the family detail screen, and then I'll walk quickly through the check-in and check-out process. So to create a survey on the family detail screen, I'm just going to pull up a family here, and I'm going to say show family. I'll just right-click on the room census here and go to show family. And there is a new tab or a new option added under the documents and testimonials tabs here called surveys. And this is where I'm going to delete this existing invitation here that I created just a little bit earlier today. So under documents, surveys, and testimonials is where you're going to find all of the survey invitations that were sent to a particular family. So GRMHIS actually keeps a track of, keeps a history of all the invitations that you've sent to families, and it's very easy to see which ones they've received and when, and whether or not they've completed them. So in order to create an invitation, I'm going to click Add, and then Survey Invitation. At the top here, I will select which survey I want them to, which survey I want them to receive. So I'm going to ask them for my sample survey. That's the one I had created earlier. And I'm going to send the invitation out today. Oh, sorry. I've got it set out that the invitation will get sent out 2 days from now. So that's the default setting. If you'll recall in the previous survey, I had set it to 2 days. If I want to override that at this point, I can still make it the 27th and send it out today. Address emails to. So this will be like in your Dear so-and-so where you had the placeholder for the address to. Whatever you type in this box here is what will get placed in there. So you have the ability to override that. And then this just pulls up the patient name. So this is defaulted based on, in this case, the caregiver information and the patients. You have the ability to override this just to customize the emails that get sent out. Then the email addresses that are available here are the email addresses in the family file. If I cancel this and I go to the address contact table here, the email address is in the file where the permission to use on mailing list is set to yes. So I have two emails here, one my Forte Solutions address and then another live address that I have. I've set this to no, so that email address will not be available for use. So if I were to say no to this one as well, and save that. And if I also go to the family members tab, because I also have an email address set up under Tamara's email address, and I set that to no, or there's no email address entered, either one, and I save that. If I try to create a new survey invitation for that family, I will get a message here that says they don't have any email addresses that are marked as having permission to use on mailing lists. So I will do the one patient email address. I'll say yes. Actually, I'll just do all three. I'm going to say yes here, and I will also go to Tamara, and I will set hers to yes as well. And we will save that. I don't think I created a survey yet. I didn't. So I'm going to create a survey invitation here. And you'll see here now all three addresses show up. The relationship here will identify where that address is found. So where it says patient, those are the addresses that are entered here in the contact table. And then any family member relationship will show up here. So I've got mom's email address, and then I've got the two that are associated with the patient. These names here are just for your information. They don't show up on any invitations or anything like that. This is what will show up in the email. This is just for internal, so you know the names that are associated with the email addresses. So I'm going to create a sample survey invitation here. I want to send out the invitation directly. I'll send it on the 27th. I want to link this survey to a particular program. So I want to say the sample house, test house, or even my family rooms. I can link the survey to there. So this is actually sort of an interesting sidebar. You can create family room surveys, and you can use the family detail screen to send out invitations for surveys about family rooms as well. So if you want to create family room surveys and track them to specific families that are using the family room, you can have GRMHIS send out those surveys as well. I'm just going to tag this one to my sample house here. So this creates a survey now. And what will happen is invitations are sent out, they're processed at the end of the day. So at the end of every day, there's a process that runs that just goes to see if there's any new invitations that need to be sent out. And if there are any, it will send them out. And it uses the invitation date. So if I had set this to the 29th, when it runs tonight, this invitation wouldn't get processed yet. It won't get processed until the 29th happens. I'll leave it at the 27th here. So you'll notice here, I can edit an invitation. So if I say, oh, I didn't want to send it to this email address, I can uncheck that box and I can just edit it. So now it just updates the invitation and it's only going to send the invitation out to these two email addresses. Or I can make changes to who it's addressed to, when it's sent out, and so on. You'll also notice here that now that I am editing the survey invitation, I can actually view the survey. So this is the unique invitation key that is sent to the family. And when I click on view survey here, it will load their survey. So here I have the sample survey without the word preview now. And now I have the survey that's there. And now there's also a done button at the bottom. A couple things I want to demonstrate right here. If I click done, it's going to prompt them to enter things. So this is to ensure that the entire survey is filled out. So if I now click done, it goes to the next question. It says you got to select at least something here. And again, for the matrix and so on and so forth. So this is how they would fill out the survey. That's the experience that they're going to get. On your end, if I'm going to close this, I just want to show a couple things here. So if I go to an existing family here that I had sent some surveys out to before when I was doing some testing, I've got these two surveys that were sent, a self-identification survey and a family experience survey. These are completed. So because they've completed them, you can't edit the invitation any longer. The delete button is gone. This is all disabled. It's just there as a record of the fact that an invitation was sent, and you have record of the fact that it was actually completed. So that's you can see at a glance. So you can see here that this family has participated in these two surveys. If I pick a different family, and I can't remember now off the top, I hope this is one of the ones where I had, no. So here I have another one. They completed a self-identification survey. I will show you in the third video how you can actually see who has received invitations and who hasn't. So that is one way. So as I said, I can go to the family detail screen. I can search for the family. If I'm looking in the day use module, anywhere you can right click, you just go to the show family, and then under surveys, document surveys, testimonials, you can see the past invitations and you can create any new invitations that are there. I want to point one other thing out. So I have this self-identification survey that was completed on the 25th. If I create a new self-identification survey here for them now, I'm going to get a message that said this family's already completed this survey in the past 12 months. Are you sure you wish to create a new invitation? You have the ability to say yes, but the warning just comes up that says they've already completed this. So you may not necessarily need to send another one out. That parameter of 12 months is managed in the lookup codes where you manage your survey types. So if I go to tools, lookup codes, and I go to survey types, I have these 4 different survey types. I can create additional ones, but if I go to the self-identification survey, there is display a warning if a new invitation is created within X number of months after this survey of this last type was last completed by the recipient. And I can make it 6 months, 18 months, whatever I would want to, that's there. The descriptions are disabled here because this is a system code, but you do have the ability at least to change the warning for new invitations. So I could create, for example, I could create a family room survey. And same thing, I don't want them to, let's say for family rooms, I only want it after 6 months. So I can create a family room survey option that's there, and then categorize all of my surveys as family room surveys. All right. So I mentioned as well that you can send self-identification and general surveys at check-in. So if I go to check-in here and I pick a family to check in, and I'm just going to walk through the check-in screen. I'm assuming that you all know how to check families in. I do want to point out again, in order for you to be able to send a survey to the family, you have to have at least one email address, either on a family member or on the patient record, and at least one email address. That email address has to have yes as permission to use on mailing lists. So I'll put them in a room here. Room key. So now at the end of my check-in process, I have the ability to create a survey invitation. And you'll notice here that I've got a family self-identification survey and my sample survey. The reason why sample survey shows up is because I created it as a general survey. So this drop down on check-in will show anything that is of type self-identification or of type general. And so I can pick which survey I want to send to them. And it doesn't actually send the survey. What it does is it creates the invitation. And then, as I mentioned earlier, on a nightly basis, at the end of the day, GRMHIS wakes up and it says, okay, I've got a bunch of survey invitations to send out here, and sends those out. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to create the survey invitation. And it creates, so the survey invitation has been created, and now the family is checked in. So if I find that family back for a second, right here, room 301, and I go to the family detail screen, and I go to the document surveys testimonials, you'll see here now that there was an invitation that was created today for this family. And now if I want to, I can make edits to this yet as well. So if I, if I realize, oh, I needed to send it, add another email address or something like that, I can create an email address, add it to the list. As long as the invitation hasn't been sent, you have the ability to edit this. Or if you realize, oh, that was sent in error, I didn't want to send that, you can delete it, as long as you delete it on the day before the invitations are sent, and that way the invitations actually won't go out. So that is for the family that's checked in. For families that have checked out, I can click the checkout process here. I'm going to just pick a family, and I will check them out. And I'm just going to ignore these questions for a second. I'll ignore the keys, that's fine. I'll just say they returned them. And so at checkout, I can also now create a survey invitation for new families, or again, the general one. So by default, it selects your appropriate survey. The reason why it says new families here and not the repeat families is because this family was a new family. So for repeat families, the repeat family survey will show up. For new families, the new family survey will show up. And then again, I can create the survey invitation. So this was the Hollis family, I think. Yep. So I'm going to create this invitation here. And by the way, I clicked too quickly there, but it does also give you a warning if you try to create an invitation again for a family after when they check out. So that's that check and balance is in place there too. If I find that family back on the families tab here, and I go to let's go to Hollis, and I go to that family, there are the invitations. So the current invitation that I sent out is here. So if I wanted to delete it, I have the ability here to just delete the invitation, and then it won't go out at all. All right, so as a reminder, from the family details screen, I can create any survey invitation. So add survey invitation, and I can select the survey that I want, select the recipients, make any changes to the information that goes into the email template, the invite, and create the invitation. And then after that, GRMHIS just takes over with creating the reminders and all that kind of stuff. And then the other two ways is at check-in, at the end of the check-in, and at the end of the check-out. And then those invitations are created, but you can still manage them, which I will show you in the next video. I'll talk to you soon.